वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभयेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। प्रभुपाद प्रणीति। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चातदे सतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा रस बिहारी राधा रस बिहारी राधे। जय सीताराम लक्ष्मण भक्त हनुमान सीताराम लक्ष्मण भक्त हनुमान। जय गौरानिताय 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 जय गौरानिताय। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद। मंगलाचरण। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवां च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवे प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभयेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मन्मनाभो मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैशति दैवम् आत्मानं मत्परायणं परब्रह्म परं धाम पवित्रं परमं भवान् पुरुषं शाश्वतं दिव्यम् आदिदेवम् अजं विभुम् आहुस्वां ऋषयः सर्वे देवर्षि नारदस्तथा असितो दृष्टो देवलो व्यास स्वयं चैवाब्रवीषि सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा सुच यत्र योगेश्वर कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुधर तत्र श्रीविजयो भूते ध्रुवा नितिर्मतिर्मम ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Hare Krishna. So before we go to our new sloka, let us just make a quick revision of the previous slokas that we did. So what was the first two slokas was about? Anybody remembers the division of the Bhagavad Gita? About setting up the scene. So we see that the army of Pandavas and Kauravas, they were assembled in the war of Kurukshetra. And Dhritarashtra had a doubt, is this war going to happen? So why did he have a doubt? Because of the influence of the holy place, because Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra was a very pious place. So he had a doubt whether this war will happen. And Dhritarashtra was bent upon the war to happen because he wanted to usurp the entire kingdom for his own children. And then Sanjaya replies, yes, the war is going to happen, and he addresses Duryodhan as Raja. Why did he address Duryodhan as Raja? So that it will just give some kind of motivation for Dhritarashtra, because Dhritarashtra was in the fear and Sanjaya being the assistant, so he used the word Raja while addressing Duryodhan. And then Duryodhan is seeing the entire army of Pandavas, and then whom did he address first? He is going to Dronacharya. And what did he say? Tava Shishyena Dhimata. He's telling how intelligent are your students. They learned the military arts from you and now they are against you. And particularly he mentions the name of Drupada because Dronacharya had some sort of enmity against Drupada. So instead of addressing Drishtadumna, he addressed him as Drupada so that that can make Dronacharya a little more angry against the other side. And then he is addressing Duryodhana is now analyzing the Pandavas army. He is trying to analyze the strength of the opposite army. So initially he thought that it is going to be a very easy war because they were already sent to the exile for 13 years and 1 year of Agnyatavas. So he thought that it is going to be very easy. The victory was certain. But when he saw around 17 Maharathas in the side of Pandavas, he really got scared. So there were 17 Maharathas who were listed, and we saw about their qualities, some of their qualities like Satyaki and Abhimanyu in the previous classes, how powerful they were. And then now Duryodhan thinks, yes, I know that the opposite army is strong, but nevertheless, our army is also stronger. So in the next few slokas, he is expressing the strength of his army, starting with Dronacharya, Asmakam. He started with Dronacharya again because he is a Brahmana and a Guru as a matter of etiquette. And we saw that the knowledge descends from Brahmana, Brahmajanati Brahmana. So because of that, he addressing Dronacharya, then Bhishma, then he addresses Karna, then he addresses Kripacharya, then Ashwatthama, then Vikarna, and we saw some of the qualities of Ashwatthama, Kripacharya, and also we saw about Kritavarma, Jayadratha, and few more armies like Shalya, whom we know that Shalya was the maternal uncle of Yudhishthir, but Duryodhana, out of his cunningness and diplomacy, somehow he managed to get Shalya by his side. But still, Shalya helped Yudhishthir because Yudhishthir went to take blessings from his maternal uncle. So he became a charity of Karna, and he was giving many abusive words against Karna just to bring down his morale. In that way, Shalya was still helping the Pandavas being in the opposite side. And then we also saw that now Duryodhan's fear has increased. So he wants to really want to pacify himself, saying that his army is stronger, because now his fighters are confused. If Duryodhan is saying that the opposite side is also strong and our side is strong, so what will happen? So for that, just to show the superiority of his army, he says that aparyaptam tadasmakam bhalam bhishma birakshitam. Our side is protected by Bhishma Dev. He is particularly, he is dependent on Bhishma Dev for what reason? What is the special boon Bhishma Dev got?
He will die only when he, he want to die.
Upon his own will, right?
Yeah.
So he was very much dependent on Bhishma Dev, and he's also a very great fighter because he won Parashuram also. So he was greatly dependent on him. And he says that the other side is just protected by Bhima. We saw that Duryodhan was having more fear with Bhima than any other Pandavas. But just to make himself feel better, he said that Bhima is just a fig in front of Bhishma Dev. And he wants to address Bhima, not so intelligent and other thing. And he's just a Artharata like that, just to pacify himself. Sometimes when we are so scared of something, we just try to pacify ourselves to bring out the fear. So that's how he's telling. But Bhima is intelligent because he's a devotee of Krishna. So anybody who is taking the shelter of Krishna, they are the most intelligent person in this world. We can try to make many material adjustments to make things proper, but by having Krishna in our side, we will always be victorious. That's what the last sloka of Bhagavad Gita says. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanudhara, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhute Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Wherever there is Krishna, wherever there is Arjuna, the victory is always certain. So for us also to be victorious in the life, we should always take shelter of Krishna. And then in the following sloka, so Dronacharya, they are expressing some concern. Yes, Bhishma Dev is strong, but right now he is very... How old was Bhishma Dev? He was like a great-grandfather, isn't it? So he's too old. So we need to all give him some protection. Yes, Bhishma Dev is there. So because he is old, we need to support him properly. That's what it is mentioned in the previous sloka. Ayanishu cha sarveshu yada bhagam avastita Bhishma meva birakshantu bhavanta sarva evahi. You all must give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic point of entrance in the phalanx of army. So Duryodhan always had little bit of doubt about Dronacharya and Bhishma, that they may have some soft corner against with Pandavas, because Dronacharya's favorite disciple was Arjuna, and Bhishma Dev also loved Pandavas very much because they possess very divine qualities. So, but Duryodhana is pacifying himself, saying that if they had that soft corner during the gambling event, they didn't even do anything to protect Draupadi. They just let them to do whatever they wanted. So in that way, they are trying to pacify himself, saying that they also have a good army to support them. So we saw that many fighters, apart from few of them, many fighters who gave support to Kauravas, they were just by them, they were fighting with them because out of obligation. At one instant, it was also said, Madarte Tyakta Jivita. Duryodhan also says that they were ready to give up their life. So in the war, the one who is losing is the one who will give up their life. They know that they are in the wrong side, they are not with the right side, but due to various obligations, they were supporting Duryodhana, and they were ready to give up their lives. Like Bhishma is like saying, the hell with you, just let me fight. Like that, they are fighting with them. So can we go to today's sloka? So for whatever did we do, is it clear to each and every one of us here? Hare Krishna. Is the 11th slokas clear so far?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll go to the 12th sloka. Please repeat after me. Tasya sanjanayan harsham
Tasya sanjanayam harsham
kuru vritta pitamaha
Guru Vridha Pitamaha
simhanadam vinadhyauchai
Simhanadam Vinadyauchai
Shankam Datmau Pratapavan.
Shankam Datmau Pratapavan
Tasya Sanjanayan Harsham.
Tasya Sanjanayan Harsham
Kuru Vritta Pitamaha.
Guru Vritta Pitamaha
Simhanadam Vinadyauchai.
Simhanadam Vinadyauchai
Shankau Datmo Pratapavan.
Shankau Datmau Pratapavan
Tasya Sanjanayan Harsham.
Tasya Sanjanayan Harsham
Kuru Vritta Pitamaha.
Guru Vritta Pitamaha
Simhanadam Vinadyauchai.
Simhanad,
Vinadyauchai
Shankam Datmo Pratapavan.
Shankam Datmau Pratapavan.
Anybody would like to recite, Mataji's? Would like to try?
Yeah, I can do that.
Please, Mataji, yes.
Tasya Sanjayanam Harsham
Tasya Sanjanayan Harsham.
Guru Vriddha Pitamaha
Kuru Vritta Pitamaha.
Simhanadam Vinadyauchai
Simhanadam Vinadyauchai.
Shankam Datmau Pratapavan.
Shankam Datmo Pratapavan. Would you like to continue reading the word to word translation and purport, Mataji?
Yeah. Tasya, his, Sanjayan,
Sanjayan. Yeah.
Sanjanayan, increasing, Harsham, cheerfulness, Kuru Vriddha, the grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, that's Bhishma, Pitamaha, the grandfather, Simhanadam, roaring sound like that of a lion, Vinadya, vibrating, Uchai, very loudly, Shankham, conch shell, Dadmau, blue, Pratapavan, the valiant. Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhan joy.
Yeah, continue the commentary also, Mataji.
Okay.
Purport.
The grandsire of the Kuru dynasty could understand the inner meaning of the hurt of his grandson Duryodhan, and out of his natural compassion for him, he tried to cheer him by blowing his conch shell very loudly, befitting his position as a lion. Indirectly, by the symbolism of the conch shell, he informed his depressed grandson Duryodhan that he had no chance of victory in the battle because the Supreme Lord Krishna was on the other side. But still, it was his duty to conduct the fight, and no pains would be spared in that connection.
So here two things we could see. So Duryodhan, Bhishma Pita could understand that Duryodhan's confidence is shattered. Although he's trying to talk a lot about his army, seeing Pandavas, he really got scared. As we all know that he didn't expect Pandavas to have military strength, what he was seeing actually. So because whom do we try to cheer up? When do we try to cheer up the children? When they are
lacking
sad.
some motivation.
Yeah, exactly. It's common, no? We cheer somebody when somebody is sad, when somebody is suffering, right? So, here Bhishma Pita could understand that Duryodhan was actually sad. He was not happy. He was fearful. So just to give him some joy, he blew the conch shell with a loud sound. That sound can probably give him some cheer. So that, he is doing. But here Bhishma Pita had an inner meaning for himself. Okay. So what is the conch shell actually? It belongs to whom? Who symbolizes that? Have you seen Narayana? What are the four things he has? Shankha Chakra, Kada, Gada, Padma. Okay, so Shankha is a symbol of Narayan,
Yes.
isn't it? So indirectly, he is saying that, this Shanka is a symbol of Narayan, and Krishna is in the other side. Duryodhana, be prepared that you're going to be finished. So there are two meanings here. So Bhishma Dev know the inner meaning that this Kongshali is blowing for two reasons, just to cheer up. But Duryodhana is not very smart enough to understand, because we saw in the previous classes also, Duryodhana could never accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even though Duryodhana, many instances Krishna tried to show his supremacy, especially in front of Duryodhana. Even when he came as a Shantituda, he once showed his Vishwarupa form. But seeing that, what did Duryodhana say? What did he say, seeing that Vishwarupa form? He said that it's a magic. So Krishna is just doing some magic. So he was not able to understand Krishna at all. So likewise, we see that even in the present world, people are very ignorant about the presence of God. So even if the God comes in front of them, they are not going to accept anyway. Many people say, "Na, apne Bhagwan ko dekha kya? Have you seen the God? Have you think?" So people are trying to defy the power of God itself in these days. They want to say that science is greater than the God. But that's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavrita. I don't show myself to everybody. There's no need for me to show to everybody. And I am protected, covered by yoga maya. So if somebody is not believing that Prime Minister Modi is the Prime Minister of India, is there any obligation for Modi to come and prove that, you see, I am the Prime Minister of India, and this is all the signatures that has been my endorsement and everything? Is there any obligations for Modi to come and prove that he is a Prime Minister for
Not
a
at all.
normal person, right? So when it is not even needed for a Prime Minister of a country, so as we see that there are so many Brahman, and this planet is just one mustard seeds from the bag full of mustard seeds. So with that seeds in that thing, in one of this country out of some 190 countries that we have, approximately one Prime Minister has so much of power. And what about Krishna, the Supreme Lord? Is there even any necessity for him to show off himself? It's not necessary. So the Shanka is a pure bone of the animal, isn't it? So there are few things in the Vedic thing. We don't touch the animal when we are doing something. So generally in the Vedic culture, we are not allowed to keep the animals in the house because of the contamination, like cats and dogs. We are not allowed to keep them inside the house. You can keep them outside the house if you have a space, but you're not supposed to keep them inside the house, because that contaminates the place. Their hairs and everything contaminates the place. And here, this Shanka is a pure bone of the animal, isn't it? Like Gomutra. All the urine is considered to be contaminated, but the cow's urine is considered to be sacred, isn't it? So similarly, this Shanka is a pure bone of animal. And Bhishma Dev, one Shanka he is blowing and say, you are going to be finished, you're going to be done. Like that, he is blowing the Shanka some 2-3 times. And Bhishma Pita also, he knew that, he's not going to win. You just thought because he was under Duryodhana, he was materially, financially dependent on him. So he just took his side. So he also said many times, hell with the Kshatriyas. He said that. And he was also like, everybody were ready to give up their lives. So though the people were supporting Duryodhana, but it is known that they were just there to give up their lives. Is this sloka clear, Matajis? Can we go to the next sloka?
Yeah.
Any question from this sloka? It's all clear, right?
Okay. Yeah. Is there any name for this Shankha that Bhishma
Yeah, there
Dev?
are so many Shankas. Bhishma Dev did not have any name because Bhishma Dev Shanka were not transcendental. But Krishna, Shanka and Arjuna, we will, in the next few slokas, we will try to know about the names of the other Shankas. But Bhishma's Shanka has we didn't get to have any name here
Oh,
because it is
okay.
not transcendental. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll go to the next sloka. Tata Shankasya Bairyasya
Tadha Shankasya Bairyasya
Panavanaka Gomuka
Panavamaka Gomukha
Sahasaivabyahanyanta
Sahasaivaabhyahanyanta
Sashabda Tumulo Bhavat
Sashabda Tumulo Bhavat
Tata Shankasya Bairyasya
Tadha Shankasya Bairyasya
Panavanaka Gomuka
Panavanaka Gomukha
Sahasaivabyahanyanta
Sahasaivaabhyahanyanta
Sasabda Tumulo Bhavat
Sashabda Tumulo Bhavat
Tata Shankasya Bairyasya
Tata Shankasya Bairyasya
Panavanaka Gomuka
Panavanaka Gomukha
Sahasaivabyahanyanta
Sahasaivaabhyahanyanta
Shashabda Tumulo Bhavat.
Sashabda Tumulo Bhavat.
Anybody would like to try this sloka? Hare Krishna. Just you have to repeat once. Try. No, nothing wrong in trying.
If
Okay.
anyone else can do it, Mataji, they can, otherwise I can do that.
Okay, I'll try.
Yes, Mataji, please. Thank you.
ततशङ्कश्च भैरय
Tata Shankasya Bairyasya
ततशङ्कश्च भैर्यश्च
Tata
पन
Shankasya Bairyasya
पनवा पनवानक
Gomukha.
गोमुखा
Panavanaka Gomuka
सहस्र सहस्र सहस्र
Sahasaivabhya
Hanyanta
सहस्रन्त्य
Saiva
भैन्यन्तं
Sahasaivabhyahanyanta
शहबद्धतुमुलो भवात्
Sashabda Tumulo Bhavat. You would like to read the word-to-word translation and the translation, Mataji? Yeah.
I'll try.
Yeah.
Tata, thereafter, Shankar, conch shell, Cha, also, Bhairaya is last drum, Ka, and Panava, Anaka, small drums, and cattle drums, Go, Mukha is horn, Sahasa, all of a sudden, Evaka, certainly, Abhayantra were simultaneously sounded, Sha, Shata, Shabdah, combined sound. Tumulaha is tumulus. Abhavat means became. After all the conchs, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was stimulus.
Yes, Mataji. You are able to read the word-to-word properly. The only thing is when we read the slokas, no, we should just know where to split. Just with little
Yeah.
bit of practice, we can read because your word-to-word reading was very good. Because all the
This is the first
words
time I'm
of
reading Sanskrit.
very nice, Mataji. Everybody can read. Thank you. But word to word, you were reading very nicely. So just you need to know how to split the words. With
Yeah,
practice,
thank
it will come. Okay,
Yeah.
Mataji. So we will, little more, we will look at the commentary of this. So we see that there was a huge army assembled in Kurukshetra war. There were almost like 64 crore people who were fighting. So when we know that there is a huge army, there will be a lot of noise, right? Have you ever, any of you visited, been there in any of the cricket match live? Have you been to any of these match where there are 30, 40,000 or 50,000 people assembled? Anybody has that experience of going anywhere where there are a huge assembly of people?
Not really.
Not really, but around 5,000 years.
Yes, Mataji. So, like we know, right? At least we have not been practically, but when we are watching some cricket matches live, especially some finals, semi-finals, and important matches, Don't we see that there is a big roaring sound coming there?
Yes, yes.
And many
The
people, yeah, they like to go to the stadium and watch because they want to feel that things, right? While today most of us have a very smart TV and a very good view, and the coverage is very good, you can very well sit in the home and watch, but people go because there is some kind of a feeling that you get, right? That sounds and everything, no? When the match starts and when there's a wicket, then there's a sixer, you see a huge sound that is happening, isn't it? So like that, you will see that here there were so many Kshatriyas who were assembled there, and everybody was shouting. After Bhishma Dev started blowing his conch shell, all the people, whatever the instruments they had, whatever the weapons they had, whether it is sword, whether it is drums, whether it is bugles, they all started putting their own sound. So now there was a huge sound in the Battle of Kurukshetra. Like literally now, no more compromise. The war has started. All the endeavors for the compromise is all gone. And now the war is really starting, right? And Bhima was very much waiting for that. Bhima was waiting for 14 years. Remember in the previous classes, we saw that he took 4 vrata. He wanted to kill all the 100 Gauravas. He wanted to break the ties of Duryodhana, and then he wanted to pluck the hands of Dushashan because he was trying to drag Draupadi and come, and he wanted to pluck the heart of Dushashan and drink the blood and wash the blood with Draupadi's hairs. So Bhima was very much waiting for it because he was like really in ecstasy about this war going to start, because there was no more peace negotiation, no more diplomacy. So by killing each other, it will be decided that who is the winner. Now you can all see, okay, Bhagavad Gita is, this is a spiritual book. This is a book from India on spirituality, on meditation, on love, on karma, on jnana and everything. But where is this spoken? When we see the very first page of Bhagavad Gita, what do we see? Imagine we are distributing this Bhagavad Gita to people across the world, especially the foreigners. And we are telling them this is a book on meditation, peace, love, moksha, karma, everything. And what will they think? Does it look like that? It looks like there is some war going on, isn't it? So if somebody is asking you that question, what will you answer? You're telling it as...
It's also a battle.
What, Mataji?
I think everyday life is also a battle for all of us.
Exactly. So this is a battle because spirituality is not generally taken by the people when they are in a calm and the peaceful mind. So generally when everything is going good, people are more this thing on themselves. They don't even feel the need to visit the temple. They feel that everything is happening good and they are indulged more in their own gratification. Generally, they don't even go to temple. But if they come across some reverses in life, like if they have some close relative who died, or if they are coming across some diseased condition, or if they are having some financially a big problem, then people turn towards the God, isn't it? Right? Mostly when people are in a very, very nice condition, they don't really turn up to the God. So we can be confused, like how can the Bhagavad Gita be spoken in such an atmosphere? How such topics are spoken in the war field? Whereas this is an Indian book of spiritual knowledge, which is teaching God, peace, love, meditation. Right? So Arjuna says to Krishna, Arjuna does not want to fight. Actually speaking, Arjuna did not want to fight. We will see after some 5-6 slokas, we will see now Arjuna will not be ready to fight. Almost everything is decided, but Arjuna was not ready to fight. He said that let's go quietly. But Krishna wanted him to fight. Did he say, Arjuna, okay, Arjuna, you just be quiet, you go to the forest and meditate on my names, you will get moksha? No. He said that he wanted him to fight. What did he say? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu Ma manusmara yudhyacha. Always remember me and do your duty. He did not say, oh Arjuna, give up all your material attachments, everything. Now retire yourself to the war field. He did not say that, but he said that do your duty, but always remember him and do the duty. So here Arjuna was a Kshatriya. So his duty was to fight. But what about us? We are also having our own prescribed duty as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter-in-law. Some of us are working. So we have so many duties. So if that is the case, so did Krishna tell us to give up everything and to sit and just to do japa and this one? What did he say? So this applies for us also. Krishna did not say that give up everything and just do my own thing. He said, do whatever you want, do your prescribed duty. Other than some of the duties which are totally not favorable to devotion. For example, few profession, which you can say is very, very unfavorable, that you cannot think of Krishna and do that. Name some of such profession like. Fortunately, none of us are like that. Suppose some of them is a butcher. Then that profession is so degrading. One has to give up that profession, isn't it?
Yeah.
If some of them is having a business of selling the alcohol, even that is a very degrading profession. So that kind of profession should be given up. Only those professions where a lot of sinful activity is involved, that one should give up. But otherwise, the general profession, whatever we are doing, like working as a teacher or working in the bank or working as an IT professionals and all those things, these things can be very much done by remembering Krishna all the time, isn't it? So, and we see that mostly when the people are in the difficult times, and we also saw that even in our own class when we were asking one of the Matajis, 2 years back, if somebody asked you to take up devotion and to read Bhagavad Gita, you would have taken, she said, no, I wouldn't have taken. And then when you are finding some reverses in the life, and at that time you're ready to take up this knowledge, then we start thinking, why am I becoming old? Why do I suffer? Why am I here? So what should I do to be happy in the world all the time? So then to answer these questions, we are getting from Bhagavad Gita. And we get to know many topics from Bhagavad Gita. When people are asking you why I should read Bhagavad Gita, you can tell them from Bhagavad Gita, we learn what is papa, we learn what is punya, we learn what is karma, we learn how to lead our life peacefully, how to lead our life happily, and we learn how to go back home, back to Godhead. Krishna says, Sarvadharman Parityajya, Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishami Masuja. These are the last words spoken by Krishna before he signed out of Bhagavad Gita and say that by surrendering to me, I will take out all your sinful activities. Do not fear. Right? He didn't say that don't fear, but Krishna did not say that do whatever papa you want and do. While we are surrendering also, there is a process. But it is important that we need to follow the process and surrender to Krishna. But Indians as such, because of the influence of Gita, because of all these topics, we have seen that Indians have never attacked anybody. Have you ever seen in the history of India, India went and invaded anyone?
No.
Have you
No.
seen that? No.
No.
We were being invaded, but we never went to invade anyone, right? Because we Indians are very tolerant. We are so much tolerant compared to people from many other places. Because of this knowledge of Gita and other things, we are still more tolerant. And Gita is not spoken in heavenly planets. Generally, you know, in the heavenly planets, we know that the sense enjoyment is very high. And in that thing, people don't turn into spirituality. But as I said, only when we are suffering and we miss the loved ones, then we go that. Like Lekha Mataji can say, because you're in US, people are materially very opulent. How easy for you to ask somebody to take up into Krishna consciousness, Mataji? Is it so easy for you?
No.
Because
Not
people
really,
generally
Mataji, not
think that
really.
they are happy, right?
Yeah.
They're enjoying their life, they are happy, isn't it?
Yes, I mean they have got all luxuries, so
Yeah.
but I had seen like the other side also, Mataji, like some who are like really devoted, even though they have got like all the like they're from very affluent families also.
Mm.
But still, the kind of devotion they have got, I have
Yes,
got some
Mataji. Yeah.
some exceptions like that too.
Yeah, that is true, Mataji. It's like I've seen, like in the Sugarland thing, many devotees, doctors, they have a very mansion-like homes and they are doing very good devotion. But those who have come to devotion, I'm just talking in general terms, like approaching
No.
the people as it is and asking them, take Bhagavad Gita, take Srimad Bhagavatam, read it, like that. They may
No.
just take the books because out of piety, you say that, but probably it may not be so easy for them to surrender to Krishna. Yes, those who have surrendered, they are very nice devotee, but I'm talking up to that point of surrender, right? So now, in case we see that why did Bhishma supported Kauravas? What in case if Bhishma was in the Pandavas side? Then all the credit would have gone to Bhishma only, because Bhishma would have easily tackled everybody, isn't it? So this war is particularly fought exclusively by Pandavas because Krishna wants to give credit to Arjuna and the Pandavas for winning this war. Otherwise, with the Bhishma's presence, the Pandavas will definitely not get a big credit. And if you see, there is a heavy army on other side and Pandavas were small. But whom did they have? Whom did they have?
Krishna.
They had Krishna. So sometimes, Mataji, even in our own life, because we are practicing devotion, so we are not involving in so much of sense gratification. We have given up many things, like we only eat prasadam, we don't eat this, we don't go to movies, we don't do this, we don't do that. And we see that the entire world is in the gratification. They go to malls, they go to movies, they go to here. So by seeing this, what we should do is, forget about changing them is the next thing, but at least we know that we have Krishna in our side and we should try to remain a devotee of Krishna. Like how Pandavas were supported by Krishna, even though the Pandavas' army was smaller compared to Kauravas, isn't it? Pandavas were only had 7 Akshohinis, whereas Kauravas had 11 Akshohinis. So definitely the Kauravas army was much bigger than Pandavas, and they had great grandsires like Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, and everyone. But in spite of that, Krishna being in their side, they won the battle, right? And Krishna, it is said in Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. So everything comes from Sarva Karana Karanam. And Krishna here, he just wants to enjoy the Veera Rasa. Like Krishna enjoys many rasas, like Rasa Leela, he enjoys. Like that, this is also the Veera Rasa that Krishna wants to enjoy. And what kind of battle was this Kurukshetra? The world's best fighters were put here, isn't it? Isn't it? When Krishna wants to enjoy something, everything has to be the best.
Yeah.
Suppose you're having a prime minister, you're inviting the prime minister to your home. He obliged to your invitation. What kind of food that you will serve him?
Best of the best.
of all. Yeah.
Everything, na? You will try even the rice, the best quality, the dal, the best quality, the ghee, the best quality. Everything that you use will be the best of the best qualities, right? So similarly, here Krishna is here and he wants to enjoy the Veera Rasa. So all the great fighters were all made to assembled here. And why did Krishna chose not to fight? Can anybody say the reason for this? Why Krishna chose not to fight?
Wanted the Pandavas to get the credit.
Exactly. What in case if Krishna would have fought?
Then there wouldn't have been Bhagavad Gita at all.
Exactly. And there's no credit also to Pandavas, right? Because the Shastra says about Krishna, Parase Sakti Vividhaiva Suyate. The everything, all the energies comes from Krishna only. Like if you see the Leelas that Krishna performed in Vrindavan, he swallowed the big forest fire in just the blink of eyes. Remember that pastime where Krishna swallowed the forest fire?
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, in the Krishna Leela's pastime, we see that Krishna swallowed the forest fire. There was once a forest fire in Vrindavan, and he just swallowed it in this thing. So Bhagwan was there, then the victory would have been very, very easy. And there is no glory for Pandavas, isn't it? So here, Krishna wanted to make Pandavas win, and that is why he did not participate. Okay, and this is also another rasa. Yes, even though Krishna wanted to enjoy the Veera rasa, he will be also happy not to fight, seeing the big fighters, but still he controlled himself because he is a Bhakta Vatsala. He is very, very kind to devotee, and he want to see his devotees' name to be glorified than his own names, right? So, even when we are talking about the devotional service, we have to do things for Krishna. So many people think, when devotion means, we want Krishna to do this to us, we want Krishna to do that to us. Rather, devotional service means we need to think, what can I do for Krishna? Isn't it? Rather than expecting Krishna to do something for us, we should think that what can I do, Krishna? So on the third day, Bhishma was fighting very heavily. He could not stop. Okay. So if Bhishma, why it happened on a third day, he fought very heavily? Because we saw that Duryodhan was keep on pricking Bhishma, that he was favoring Pandavas. So Bhishma Dev, he fought more than his capacity on the third day. And he also knows that, Krishna likes the Veera Rasa. So he did an extra fighting. So by doing the extra fighting, Bhishma Dev could give some pleasure to Krishna. So here we can see every activity that Krishna likes, just by doing that activity, we can please. So everything is best for Krishna. Like if you see in Vrindavan, you have the best of the best gopis. You have the best of the best musicians, and you have the best of the best cooks. It is said that Radharani cooks beautiful dishes for Krishna that she does not even repeat one of the item that she cooks. Every day she offers new food to Krishna. So that is the kind of people, the devotees who are serving Krishna in Vrindavan. So all the fighters were there in the war. Okay, so on the first day, we saw that Bhishma was very, very, because he was angered by Duryodhan, he was like death personified, like Yamaraj. He was killing people like anything on the Pandava side. And Yudhishthir was very sad. And Bhishma is making so much of destruction, and Arjuna is just quiet. So Yudhishthir was saying, Arjuna, now what happened? You see, if you keep on losing our army, we will lose. And on the second day, what happened is Arjuna became stronger and he smashed the Kauravas. Then, now what will Duryodhan do now? Will he spare Bhishma?
He will start provoking him.
Exactly. Again, he did that. Then Duryodhana spoke to Bhishma. See, grandfather, I know you're becoming old. Just let us know if you're not strong enough. I have my friend Karna, so I will rather replace you with him. So this was very provoking to Bhishma, right? For a Kshatriya saying that your power is not good enough, so I will replace you. How will the Kshatriya feel? So after hearing Karna's name, Bhishma Dev could not tolerate. So that's why Bhishma fought very strongly. And it is mentioned in the Mahabharata that day, on the third day, when Bhishma was fighting very strongly, there was a river of the blood which was flowing. Okay. And Arjuna still feels, it is a grandfather. He was, not fighting with the full spirit. No, Arjuna still had a little bit of inhibition. He was not able to stop Bhishma in his natural way. So now what did Krishna do? Krishna took his reins and he jumped out of the Ratha. He took his Sudarshan Chakra, and Sudarshan Chakra is like a 10,000 blazing sun. And remember, in the beginning of the war, what did Krishna say?
He will not fight.
Yeah, he will not fight. But now what did Krishna do?
Breaking his promise.
He broke his own promise, because what did Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita? Kaunteya pratijanahi name bhakti pranashyati. He says to Arjuna, oh Arjuna, go and tell everybody that my devotees will never be perished. And here particularly Krishna wants Arjuna to go and tell that my devotee never perishes, instead of he telling himself. Why did he do that? Because sometimes Krishna breaks his own promise, but to save his devotees, if he has given a word to devotee, he never breaks his promise. Okay, so that is the reason why Krishna is telling Arjuna, now you go and declare. And now Arjuna had a chariot which is gifted by Agni Dev. So you can imagine the fire is the one which spreads very fast, right? If the chariot is given by Agni Dev, the chariot can go very fast in all the directions. But still, Krishna thought that the chariot is too slow. So he got down off the chariot, right? Because he was thinking, oh, Bhishma Dev, you are trying to destroy my plan to incarnate Yudhishthir. You want to kill Arjuna and other Pandavas. So Krishna did not think what the people will say. Now he thought that, Pandavas had his, cousins, and they were also his devotees. So he thought that it is more important to give protection to Pandavas than to keep up his own oath. People might speak, right? What kind of person is Krishna? He is given a promise and he can't even he can't even keep up the promise. So Krishna thought, let the people speak whatever they want. I don't care. I am Bhakta Vatsala. And I just don't want to hold on to Manusmriti and say that I'm supposed to do whatever I'm supposed to do. I know that I have to follow that. But under such circumstances, for me, it is more important to protect my devotee rather than following the Manusmriti. So because of the love for Arjun, he broke his promise. Now, because of that, Arjuna, now he saw that, oh, Krishna is doing so much for me in spite of the promise that he took, that he's not going to be in the battlefield. Now Krishna has gone. So now Arjuna, little bit of the material sentimental attachment that Arjuna had against Bhishma Dev, he has given up that, and he said, Krishna, please leave it. I will fight now. Don't worry. I realized my mistake and I will fight. And Arjuna pleaded, Krishna, please be quiet, Krishna. So now you know how did Krishna carried Arjuna? Like an elephant takes an insignificant wood. So now Krishna was carrying Arjuna like that, and Bhishma is gone. He was holding Krishna's feet and told that he will kill everyone. Now Arjuna told to Krishna, don't worry, I will kill Bhishma, I will kill Dronacharya, and I will kill everyone. I will not show any more sentiment or material attachment towards them. So Krishna now let Arjuna to fight. So here we can see that Krishna has 6 opulences in the previous classes. What are the 6 opulences Krishna has? Aishwaryasya Samagrasya. He has, he beauty. Has all wealth, all beauty, all knowledge.
All renunciation.
All renunciation, right? So of that, if you see that Vairagya means supreme renunciation. So now here Krishna has shown the quality of the supreme renunciation, because Krishna loved Virarasa, but still he left without fighting, because he wanted to glorify whom? The Pandavas. So, and you know that Balaram was not there in the war, right? He was gone to the pilgrimage. Imagine if Balaram would have been there, how long this war would have happened? Probably the 18 days of war would have finished in 18 seconds, right? Balaram is also very, very strong. However, Balaram came on the last day of the war. On the 18th day, he came, and when he came, he saw that Bhima was fighting with Balaram. And we know that, Bhima was fighting with Duryodhan. And when Balaram saw this, he got really angry, because Duryodhan, remember the one of the oaths which Bhima took of the 4 vows? He's going to break the thighs of Duryodhan. isn't it? So Krishna reminded that. So Krishna pointed out the thighs to Arjuna, and Arjuna also pointed out to Bhima. Remember that you have to stuck the Duryodhana's thighs.
Right.
But actually, it is not the right place in the war to attack that place just below the waist. It is not like, there are certain rules and regulations while fighting the Gada, but that's not the right thing. But however, because Bhima took the oath, so it became dharmic. Even though it was not dharmic, but just to fulfill the oaths that Bhima took, it became dharmic. So now for Balaram, both Bhima and Duryodhana, both of them were his favorite disciples, isn't it? Both of them learned Gada from Balaram. So imagine that Balaram was in the pilgrimage visit and he just came back. How do we feel if we are gone to a holy dham, when we are coming back from holy dham? How do we feel?
Pious.
We feel pious, right? More quiet, more peaceful, isn't it? Even though if somebody is shouting or anything, we just feel, we have been in a nice place, peaceful place. So we try to be in that mood, isn't it? However, here Balaram got very angry seeing, Bhima taking the Gada and trying to hit the thighs of Duryodhan, and he took his plow to kill Bhima. And Balaram also said that he wouldn't fight, isn't it? But what is the good fortune of Pandavas? Again, because Krishna was in their side. So now what Krishna did is, Krishna hold the Balaram's hand and he did not let him to do this. So because Krishna was holding Balaram's hand, and Balaram said, Krishna, it's your will, so I will not fight. And then he left it. Otherwise, Bhima would have been killed by Balaram. So now we can see that Krishna came with the mission, Paritranaya Sadhuna, Vinashaya cha Dushkritam, Dharma Samsthapanarthaya, Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. He protected his devotees and he killed all the miscreants by bringing all the miscreants in one particular place. In a huge war of Kurukshetra, Krishna killed everyone. But there is one big difference that is between the current war and the war that happened in Kurukshetra. What is that difference? One major difference.
Dharmic. And now it is not happening that way.
Krishna is there.
Yeah, exactly. And Krishna is there. And no matter whether you are in the Gaurava side or Pandava side, whether you are good or bad, anybody who died in front of Krishna, what did they attain?
Liberation.
Moksha. They all got their Swarupa, not even a normal liberation like becoming one with Krishna. They all got the Swarupa, means your original constitutional position. We are all having our own Swarupa. We are all related to Krishna by serving him in some form or the other. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manashishtani indriyani prakristani karshati. Krishna says that we are all his part and parcel eternally. Sanatana. It's not just for one lifetime or any lifetime. Sanatana. But why we are not able to understand that? Because of mana shashta indriya, mind and the five senses. So we are not able to control our mind and senses. Because of that, we are not able to understand that we are also the part and parcel of Krishna, and we have our own individuality. Each and every jiva, the constitutional position of the jiva is packed in our soul. So when we go back to the spiritual world, we get back our original position. That is our real self. Now, whatever dress we are wearing and whatever designations we are giving, it is all we got it because of our karma and our desires. The two things which gives us repeated birth is the karma and the desires. So one should know how to do the activities in such a way that our activities will not become bandhan, karma bandhana. Here also, Arjuna killed so many people in the Gaurava's side, but he did not incur any sinful reactions. Why? Because upon whose order he did it?
Krishna's
Krishna's order. Exactly. So whatever we do in our life, that's why we have to consult Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita is our law book. Bhagavad Gita, these are the words of the God. So anything that we do in our life also, we should always think before we do. Whatever activities that I am doing, will it please Krishna? So if you are taking half a minute to reflect on that, you can prevent yourself from doing many sinful reactions. Isn't it, Mataji? Can we all take 1 minute to think that activity which I am going to do now, will it please Krishna?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
So that is what we should try to bring in our life. We can do our work, we can continue to do our prescribed duty, but we should always, like what Krishna says to Arjuna, Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha, always remember me and do your duty. So similarly, we should also always try to remember Krishna in whatever activities we do and do our duty. By doing that duty which we are doing, will it incur any karma on it?
No,
Why it will not attract any karma?
because we are doing it for Krishna, for his
Yeah,
pleasures.
exactly. Remember in the previous classes, we spoke about 3 karmas. What are that? Karma, akarma, and vikarma. Right? Karma is like a pious activity, and akarma is actually inactivity, or it is called bhakti karma, and vikarma is a forbidden activity. We don't do any forbidden activities. Being a devotee, we are following the 4 regulative principles. So we are not doing any forbidden activities, which is good, not doing the forbidden activity. At the same time, by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and by offering the food that we are eating to Krishna, we can sanctify ourselves. That's why Atak Sri Krishna Namadi Na Bhave Gragya Indira. Our senses are so blunt. We cannot understand Krishna by our blunt material senses. Sevon Mukohi Jigwaho. But by engaging our tongue in the service of Krishna, we can realize Krishna. So with the tongue, we can taste Prashadam. And with the tongue, we can chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and we can chant Bhagavad Gita, and we can chant the names of Krishna. Krishna says, Nam Namakari Bahuta Nija Sarva Sakti. Krishna has so many names. We have Vishnu Sahasranamam. Sahasranamam means how many names?
1,000.
1,000 names, but Krishna has much more than that. He has even million names. He is called Devaki Nandan. Why he is called Devaki Nandan? Because he is son of Devaki. Yashoda Nandan, right? Nanda Nandana. And we call him as Partha Sarathi. Why we call him as Partha Sarathi?
There's a charioteer of Arjuna.
Charioteer of Partha, Pritha, because he was a son of Pandu. And we call him Murali. We called him Keshava. We call him as Rishikesha, the master of senses. So Krishna has so many names. He just does not have 1 name or 2 names. We have so many names. So all we should try to do is chant his holy names. But Durdaivam Idrisham Ihajani Nanuraga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Sishtashtakam, but there is no rules and regulation to chant the holy names. One can chant the holy names under all circumstances. We can chant while eating, we can chant while sleeping, we can chant by bathing. Literally, holy names doesn't have any rules and regulations at all. But still, Durdaivam Idrisham Ihajani Nanuraga. I am so fallen that I am so unfortunate that I am not even able to chant your holy names. So we should try to chant the holy names of Krishna as much as possible so that we remember him all the time. Like Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha, like how Arjuna remembered Krishna and he followed the order of Krishna and he fought the battle. So similarly, we also are having our own battles in our life. So we should fight our battles, keeping Krishna in the center and remembering Krishna. Okay, Matajis? And we also know particularly Bhishma took the opposite side because he thought that being in the opposite side, he can see Krishna very nicely. Isn't it? Arjuna could not see Krishna very well because he was in front of him. He could only see his back. But Bhishma could see Krishna in a very nice pose, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
And
true.
Bhishma was actually, he was really, so happy. He was describing Krishna in the Pitambar Vashtra. He was relishing because he knows that the death is going to be certain. He said, no, Tyaktva, everybody is going to give up the life for Duryodhan, right? Sarve Yuddha Madarte Tyakta Jivita. He knows that everybody is going to give up their life, but he thought that anyway I have to give up the life. It is better that I be in the opposite side. So I will give up my life seeing Krishna. Very nicely. Okay, Matajis. So I had one more sloka in the mind, but it will become little more too much. So we will do in the next class. In the next class, we have about the white horses that Arjuna is having, about his great chariot gifted by Agni. So there is some pastimes about this from Mahabharata. So which we will see, and those stories might take like another 15-20 minutes. And now because it's already 7:12, so can we stop the class here by chanting the Narsimha prayers?
Yes.
Okay, Mataji.
Any questions, Matajis, from today's class? Any question, realization, comment, whatever you can express. Maybe you can take a minute or two to express that. No questions today?
No.
Any realizations from today's class?
I just feel like Mataji, like, when you read the same verse after some, few more days, then you will get more meaning to that particular paragraph. So
Yeah.
not like the same thing we are here. So it's like more and more meanings getting added to like each verse, even though we repeat it.
Correct. So now is it like each and every word of Bhagavad Gita, whatever we have done till Shloka 13, I hope it's clear. Yes, Mataji, you're right. We need to read it again and again. By reading again and again, what happens is in future, even if you're reading just the Sanskrit Shloka, you can understand the meaning.
Yeah.
So that is what the power of the Bhagavad Gita is. It's just not one book. We read Bhagavad Gita and keep it like our school books and college books. This is a book for our life. Till the last minute, we have to keep Bhagavad Gita with us. See, in the previous days, I remember my grandmother always had Bhagavad Gita with her. She always used to take out some time to read Bhagavad Gita and this thing. It was very natural for them. But today, because of our fast-paced life, we have all come out of it, isn't it?
Very true.
Some of us are fortunate that we have taken this path again so that we can inculcate this habit to our coming generations. So please, at least with your close friends and relatives, you try to influence them about the teachings of Bhagavad Gita and encourage them to read Bhagavad Gita and try to imbibe the teachings of Bhagavad Gita in their lives, because this is the greatest welfare that one can do to the humanity, because the soul is going back home, back to Godhead. We are not the body, we are the soul. So if you want somebody not to suffer, that means they should stop taking repeated birth and death, isn't it? Hare Krishna.
Very true.
So if we are really caring for someone, we should try to give them this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to them, help them, motivate them, encourage them. Because what is the use of our life if we cannot spend even 15 minutes to read Bhagavad Gita in a day? We have 24 hours. We do so many activities. People are watching shorts, people are watching YouTube, people are spending time in gossiping, this one, that one. So will this 15 minutes of Gita reading in a day, will it make a big impact or that loss of time in somebody's life?
No.
Rather, they will feel that the time is expanding. They will feel that Krishna is helping them in many ways. The moment you come to Krishna consciousness, Mataji, you will also feel that the time is expanding. I have literally seen that, like, especially this particular Gita Jayanti Day, we did a lot of book distribution. Along with that, we managed to chant all the 700 slokas of Bhagavad Gita. Along with that, managed to chant at least some 20-25 rounds of the chanting, managing the children, giving prasadam and everything. How will this all be possible if Krishna is not expanding our time? So all we need to do is just desire to serve him. If we develop that desire, it is Krishna's responsibility to make it happen. Like how? It was Krishna's responsibility to make Arjuna and Pandavas to win. Isn't it? Who was under pressure? Krishna was put under pressure in many conditions, isn't it? Remember the
Yeah.
Jayavrata place when Arjuna gave a oath that he will die if Jayavrata could not be killed, and it was sunset. And who made another sun? Krishna, isn't it? And now Krishna broke his promise and he took his chakra to fight against Bhishma, isn't it? So Krishna is always there to protect us. One should have that complete faith in Krishna and Guru and make our life successful and give this knowledge to others also. Not only benefiting us, give this benefit to others also. Whomsoever you love, that will be the greatest benefit that you can give them. Okay, Matajis? Hare Krishna. I'll just share the Narsimha prayers. Okay. Actually, we have a lot of stories now only because we are hearing about the fighters and other things. So, although it is not mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita book, but we thought that, it is good to know about them because their names are mentioned. So, we took some time to analyze about these fighters' names. We will do the Narsimha prayers. Namaste Narasimhaya Praladaladaini Hiranyakashi Purvashaka Shilatanka Nakalaye Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimho Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimha Bhagi Narsimho Hridaye Narsimho Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapati Tava Kara Kamala Varena Kamadbhuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Narsimha Bhagwan ki Jai Bhakti Shiromani Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you everyone for joining today's class and taking your sincere endeavors to wake up early in the morning and to absorb in the thoughts of Gita. So I'm sure Krishna will be pleased with all of us for taking our time by starting our day by talking about his glories, by discussing his glories. Hare Krishna. So please
Hare
continue to
Krishna.
chant, offer Bhoga to Krishna and read Bhagavad Gita. At least spend 10-15 minutes in a day to go through. As Lekha Mataji said, keep reading the slokas again and again. You will get new realizations every time. Okay, Matajis? So
Yes.
thank you so much
Hare
for
Krishna.
being in the today's class. Hare Krishna.
Hare
And please
Krishna.
remember, Mataji's Gita Jayanti is going on. If you find really anybody is in need of Gita, please let us know and try to at least give Gita to everybody in your circle who don't have. At least let us start with that. Okay, Matajis? Okay.
Yes.
Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhayeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.